Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Barely Bookish podcast. Today, we're going to be continuing on with the last two chapters of the Aeneid with Jade from About a Book podcast.
Steve, it's Misha Jade. Going back to the Irish again.
Love it. Excellent.
You got to ham it up, you know what I mean?
I know. We have, as of recording, our very American but fake Irish holiday is coming up of St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, that's like hardly a thing in Ireland, but it's huge in America.
It's literally just an excuse to get wasted. There's literally no other reason. I think all of us know it's not actually an Irish holiday, but we just were like, ooh, you know what we could do? Make this weird fake holiday and get drunk. Because there's literally no other reason for it. Like, I don't think the holiday means anything.
Like us in the Leprechaun Museum, we're closing early that day because you can imagine a Leprechaun Museum on St. Patrick's Day. It's just people like being really rowdy. So.
Yeah.
Or like, no.
Something about that makes me feel like there's probably a lot of Americans there.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like a lot of Americans would be like, you know what I should do for St. Patrick's Day? Travel to Ireland and go to this Leprechaun Museum.
Yeah. Yeah, we get a lot of Americans. And it's always lovely because they always have a genuine interest.
I mean, I'd go to a Leprechaun Museum. That sounds very neat and very cool. Would do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about Irish folklore. So like, you know, obviously you guys have like the Native American folklore, but there isn't many like, you know, white American like mythology, you know, like there's some Irish American folk tales, but I think that's why American people are so interested in folklore as well, because it's like something different, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't like, because honestly I think the problem is that because all the white Americans like migrated over here, you have to either have like folklore from your home country or because like we're all very diverse from where we're from.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just by the time we got over here, folklore was gone. Like, Americans came over here in like what, the 1800s? Like, I feel like a lot of folklore is from like medieval times-esque.
Oh, way before.
You know?
Way before.
Yeah. So it's like
the Celts are like our oldest leprechaun story comes from the 8th century.
Oh wow.
That's like written down. So there's even like older ones that were just kept alive by like word of mouth. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that. So
like we have these like structures that are known as like fairy hills that are found all across the country, and they're like predate the pyramids by like thousands of years.
Oh, that's really cool. I love that. I mean, honestly, I think Irish folklore is like, I don't know that much about it, but I feel like Irish folklore has a lot of the elements of fae, and I find fae super interesting.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, in Ireland we call the fae the she, S-I father, and it's a lot of like all of our stories are basically what happens if you were to anger the fairies and things like that. It's like, you know, stories of possession and changelings and all these curses. They're not like the happy stories you think of about like fairies dancing around mushrooms, you know.
Yeah, I like that. It's like you wander into this fairy ring, oh you are taken, goodbye. Don't eat anything, hope to survive, good luck.
Yeah, pretty much it's like all their stories are like.
That's why I also like, I don't know, for some reason I like folklore and fairy tales that are just like, you were just minding your own business, suddenly you are transported to the other.
Oh, completely. Like we have a creature that's called the puka, and it's a shape-shifting ghost, so it can appear as like a black dog or a black horse with like fiery red eyes. And the puka's goal is to basically get people very, very drunk on poitín, which is like a really old alcohol that can make you go like blind and deaf. So they pick up drunk people and bring them for a water ride around Ireland to dance with the fairies. And then there's some stories of people dancing the puka. They wake up the next day and their legs are nothing but like bloody stumps because they've like danced them off, you know.
Wild. Absolutely wild. I love that. Oh my god, that's so cool.
We do like a tour called like our Darkland tours, and that's like all of the kind of scarier, gruesome, sexy stories from Irish folklore, because a lot of it is like really sexually depraved weird stuff as well.
Wild. That's amazing. But after that really cool story, let's get into a not so cool story. I don't like this book. All right, I'm gonna say it.
Well, this is our last recording of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 books left.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll discuss it once you're and when you finish discussing the last chapter, but it's quite funny. I forgot what happens at the end.
Yeah. Let's get into it and then we'll say our whole review at the very end.
Yeah. All right.
All right, beautiful. So we are on book 11, Debates and a Warrior Girl. Okay, I'm gonna hold my feelings about the Warrior Girls until we get there, but I'm hyped about them, okay? So again, I've kind of forgot what polis means. Like I thought it was like royalty, maybe.
There's like Pallas Athena, so it's kind of like a title, like
Okay.
a not holy, but like highly respected kind of. I don't know what it actually means, but it's always before like the gods. So
Yeah. So I know they put it before the gods, but they also like put it before like a king now for some reason in this
yeah,
book.
yeah. So it's just people that are like very highly regarded, highly respected, important people.
Okay. So Aeneas is shook about someone's death. And I was like, I don't even know who we're talking about anymore. Like,
Me
no
neither.
idea.
I can't remember. Whenever we do the recordings for this episode, I just read the 2 chapters that I haven't read yet.
Yeah, me too.
But I feel like you'd just be even I feel like even if you had it in one sitting, you'd just be even more confused. So
I cannot read this book in one sitting. Like I've had to do it for a couple of the recordings when I got really behind, but like it's so hard. Like I have to take a lot of breaks because I have no idea what's talking about.
yeah, like I have a friend. She goes by like the Bookish historian on Instagram, and she like loves mythology. So I was like, oh, you have to read the Odyssey. And then she's like, this is putting me into a reading slump. And I was like, I know, but I feel like it's one of the books you have to read. You know, if you love mythology, I feel like you got to read it. You know, because it's such a classic. You know.
I know. Tell them to read the Emily Wilson translation. That's the only one.
That's the version they read. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was
Well,
like,
they said no, but they said they gave like 2 out of 5. They're like, I'm glad I read it, but it's just not like the most entertaining thing, like the way it's written,
fair.
like the way it's written, which I agree with.
Yeah, like it's not that good, but like if you had to read
The
any other
actual
translator,
like if I was to tell you the story just in casual speak, you'd be like, that story's awesome. Like, wow, such an adventure. But when
yeah,
you're reading it, it's just like it drags on, you know. So the
yeah,
actual story is great, but the writing is not
yeah,
because it's so far removed from what we're used to reading.
yeah, that's for sure. I feel like that's my favorite of the three, and then the Iliad, and then this barely even makes it on the list. Like it's on the list just because it's the third option.
Yeah.
So
bad. I wish I could give you 0, but that's not possible. So give you 1. That's
yeah.
this book.
So Aeneas starts the ritual vows, and then he makes a trophy, and I couldn't figure out if he's trying to honor the gods, who he's trying to honor, because I don't know whose side this guy is on, really. But he's like crying, so I'm guessing he has to be a Trojan, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Remember, I think the person he's grieving is remember there was death at the end of the last book, and the last episode ended in a very dark way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think it's that kid that
Yeah,
that's
what it is. Yeah,
okay.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So he is a Trojan kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he's Aeneas's son or not, because it kind of sounds like it is, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay. So then he like kind of makes this like scarecrow situation out of the armor and like puts it all over this like sack, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he just like puts all the armor on, puts his sword there, everything that the kids touched, and then like makes it like calls to, I think Mars is the god of war.
Yeah.
Like, this is, you took my kid, or whoever he is. And it's a lot of, I mean, I guess probably this is the person talking. Like, I'm going to say it, Virgil's not a good writer. Like,
yeah, as we said, he's more into the politics, you know. It's like trying to get a newscaster to write a fantasy novel. It just doesn't work.
I know.
But he can make it work if he gets paid a lot of money.
Like, I didn't like the Iliad, but I was more able to follow the Iliad and see whose side we were on
Mhm.
than this.
I feel like this book, you need to have a lot of prior knowledge and a lot of
Hmm.
historical context.
Yeah.
But that, I guess, is the point, because this was for historical context. Like, the only reason this book was, like, all the foreshadowing in this book was written is to, like, legitimize Julius Caesar's reign, you know?
Hmm.
So these next two books,
Hmm.
just for people listening, it's kind of showing the horrors of war
Hmm.
and like how expensive war is and the human cost of war, because in the time this was written, there's a lot of civil wars in Rome and in Italy in general. And
Hmm.
Julius Caesar obviously didn't want this, since he was like the new emperor. He just wanted peace. So he got Virgil to write this book, kind of highlighting that you should be peaceful instead.
Julius Caesar's just like, maybe this will help. Maybe this will work. So Aeneas then also asked the god to continue, like basically let him continue on easy mode. He's like, what if we just like take it really easily,
Yeah.
please? And he also asked to ensure nothing delays them on their way to conquer Rome.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, of course you do. Like, literally on easy mode.
I thought they're already in Rome for starters, but does he just mean like to kind of finish conquering this place?
I guess.
Yeah, kind of like to kind of succeed in the battle, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. So confused.
Because I guess even when you just arrive in Rome, like that's kind of when it only begins, you know, you gotta
Mhm.
actually set the place up. So that's probably what it means.
Yeah. So it does turn out that it's probably the prince that died. And then they say that like Aeneas kills a whole bunch of like Italians that they captured
Hmm.
as sacrifice to the god
Hmm.
of war. And I was like, oh, why did you do that? That's terrible.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to do that. That was bad.
Yeah, that seems like a horrible idea. I was like, maybe don't do that, actually. Maybe you just let these people be prisoners.
Yeah.
So then Aeneas is like offering a peace treaty. So that well, he's offered the peace treaty, and like everyone's like, what if we just like collect our dead and call it good? But then like they're still doing war. So my understanding is that Aeneas has to be somewhere else. Like he landed here, but he's not at the battlefront. So I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure where he is in this moment because
Is he
there's these,
mourning the kid?
yeah, but it's like they flash back and forth a lot. So it's like Aeneas and the leader have to not be at the battle at this moment because they're like having this peace treaty conversation, and like later on in this chapter he goes to the battlefront and he's like, why are you guys fighting? We literally have a peace treaty. So it's like
Mm,
they're all not there, right?
yeah.
I just don't know where they are. Like, I don't know if they're like 500 feet to the right. They're like having a little conversation. The war's raging by their side. And then they're like, oh, we already came to a deal. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of it though. Yeah.
I, I don't know. But it's like, how would they know that you guys are having a peace meeting when you didn't announce it in the first place?
I don't know.
Well, I know they said something a couple books ago about having Aeneas holding court in the woods, but like they aren't clear this whole time where exactly people are.
Yeah. That's why there should be a movie so we can visualize it.
Yeah. Yeah, there will not be a movie episode because there is no movie. So, yeah, no movie episode for this one.
Everyone's hearts are breaking. I can hear it. No, I wanted more of this enthralling story.
Yeah, truly. I'm sure this is going to be like my highest listened to episodes.
Oh God.
I bet there's someone out there that's going to be like, I actually really like the Aeneid and you missed the entire point. And I'm going to be like, yeah, because I don't have a freaking history degree.
Yeah.
Of course, I missed the whole point. I have no idea what's going on. My context of the Trojan War is only the Iliad.
Yeah.
So, Aeneas says he like blames Turnus and hates him for the kid's death. But like, okay, here's the problem is I started to forget where Turnus was. Like, I didn't know if he was a Trojan or if he was an Italian. And later we find out I'm pretty sure he's an Italian, but
Yeah.
I thought he was the guy that went with Aeneas's kid,
Which mean he went with his kid.
like to kill a bunch of the Italians.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I got real confused. I was like, who is this guy? And I'm like, why are we blaming him? He's literally just another king. So, I mean, I guess he like went back on like originally I think he was the guy that was like, yeah, totally, we'll just give up and let you walk in peacefully. And then he's like, just kidding. Wartime, baby. So maybe that's why, I don't know. So then we get like a whole bunch of body burning paragraphs. And I was like,
oh,
terrible.
nasty.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, I don't like that. And then the Italian king is basically like reflecting and trying to figure out how everyone got here. Like he's like, so we were gonna let them walk in, and now we're at war. What happened? Which like this reflecting paragraph made me laugh a little bit. Because like that's my mood. That was my thought while I was reading this. Because I was like, what went wrong?
Yeah.
So then they like summarize the Odyssey for some reason. They're like, yeah. And then they like mention Ulysses, and they're like, yeah. So then he traveled all these places and saw all these things, and he was in the Iliad, if you didn't know. And it's like, I'm like, why are you summarizing someone else's book right now? Like, are you trying to like win sales? You're like, maybe if I just like tell them about it, they won't go read it.
Yeah. Spoiler.
Spoiler, literally. I was like, why is this happening? And like they bring up Odysseus a lot for the fact that he's not there.
I guess it's just to like legitimize Aeneas as a character and like legitimize his journey. I'm just as good as Ulysses. I knew him.
And my favorite thing too is that at some point in here they mention that Aeneas is Hector's brother, but like Hector didn't have another brother. He had Paris, and that's it. And then the Odyssey, they're literally like, yeah, all of Hector's brothers are dead. There you go. His whole family line coming to an end.
I guess it's, well, I don't know if it's the same for this, but say like in Irish mythology, there's like a million retellings of like every story. So like in some versions, someone might have, in some versions, somebody might be someone's wife. In another version, they might be their daughter, Another version, they might be a friend. So like could be that kind of situation, because like they weren't real people at the end of the day. So it is kind of open to interpretation that way.
I was getting very much cursed child energy, where you're like, oh yeah, Voldemort.
We don't talk about Bruno. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, it's like basically we don't talk about Bruno, and it's just like Aeneas behind the walls of Troy, like with all the rats on his back,
I still haven't seen that movie. I really need to.
You haven't? You need to. It's so good. I kind of spoiler there, but
no, it's fine. I mean, I'm on TikTok, so I should probably just watch it tonight because I gotta rewrite the notes.
It's really good. It's really good.
I probably will. I had to rewrite all these notes onto my iPad anyways, so maybe I'll do that.
What do we need to rewrite all the notes onto your iPad?
So all the notes go on Patreon.
Okay.
But I was reading on my iPad, I just hand wrote them all. So I just gotta.
That's such a hack. If you don't read the book, you can just subscribe to your Patreon, and there's like summaries of all the original summaries too. Yeah.
Just saying,
you can tell, because like if you're doing a project for school and you take all of your summary off Cliff Notes or something, that's like really noticeable. But if you read someone else's summary,
sometimes I get my little opinions.
They're paying for your Patreons. They should be able to use it for homework.
It's behind a paywall. How are they gonna know? Nobody's gonna know. Plus, exactly. I did it all donation based. So okay, so then the king's like, if there was just 2 more men like Aeneas, then the Trojans wouldn't have lost Trojan War. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Uh-huh. Sounds true.
Sounds
Sounds
legit.
legit.
Yeah.
So it like started to sound like they were just ready to give it up to the Trojans. Because yeah, like it's a country that's never seen war, apparently, according to this
Yeah.
book. I mean, it's fair. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in a 10-year war either. So, like, if a country just did a 10-year war and then they showed up on my footsteps, I'd be like, oh, my doorstep, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know about that, chief. So the council,
Like Odysseus was like chaotic, but at least he didn't make his men fight all over again, you know?
yeah, right? Like,
Well, I mean,
it,
he didn't actually return at any man. They ended up dead all at the end, but still, though, he never like tried to wage war on anybody's island.
yeah, he was just like hopping around. He did a long vacation.
Yeah,
So,
he just pillaged and tricked people and things like that, but he didn't wage any wars.
yeah. I mean, I never thought I'd say I didn't actually actively hate Odysseus, but here we are, I guess. So, the council is trying to convince the kings to like fight one-on-one to stop basically having everyone get killed. And honestly, I think that's how all wars should go.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I'm like the fact that like so much of war is just like leaders being like, okay, what if we invaded the country? And I'm like,
Yeah.
why though? Like, if you really want it, you got to go to the president and do one-on-one armed combat.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it should be the people the leaders that have to just fight one on one, instead of
Yeah.
all the innocent people.
And we're gonna like start electing really buff presidents.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
Wasn't it like Arnold Schwarzenegger like a mayor or something
He's
in
a mayor.
America for a while?
Yeah, he's a mayor of somewhere in California.
Yeah, he'd be good. Everyone will be screwed.
I know. We're gonna be like John Cena for president 2024, right? 2024. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this book basically is just saying, like, Virgil's agreeing with you. He's just saying that war is stupid and that you just make peace, conveniently just when this new emperor is in power. Now you stop war.
Mm-hmm.
I know all the other books are glorifying war. They're saying it pleases the gods. It gives you like the best seat in, the other world. But now I'm saying no, war is bad,
We're just like, maybe
Hail
don't do
Caesar.
that. Yeah, he's like, what if we just like love Caesar?
Yeah. The opposite of the Mean Girls rant.
I was just thinking that. Everybody hates Caesar. Why don't we just stab Caesar?
Why don't we just love Caesar?
Yeah. Oh my god, someone's gonna clip that and I'm gonna have to like explain myself. It's fine. So then they say Aeneas overshadowed Achilles, and I was like, yeah, sure.
No way. Not a hope. Not a hope.
Right? I'm like, yeah, isn't your mom literally just Aphrodite, right? Like, or Venus, I guess. I'm like, his mom was just a very cool river goddess. He was meant for war. Like, the entire reason he was born was for war. And you're trying to tell me that Aeneas, who wasn't even mentioned in the Trojan War at all,
Yeah.
somehow boss bitch fighter. Yeah, okay. Okay. I will not believe. So then we get like a girl squad coming out to.
Oh, I love this bit.
This is the only girl squad I've ever seen in like a war, like an ancient war novel, you know? And I love them. I love them so much. I want to protect them at all costs. And like, I don't know if Virgil was trying to make a statement, because obviously he assigned girl squad to the losers. I feel like maybe the Trojan War would have been done faster had there been a really cool girl squad.
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't take 10 years.
in this book, he's definitely kind of doing like an homage to like the Amazons.
Mm-hmm.
I presume if anybody's listening to this, you know what the Amazons are, but they were a group of like these amazing, huge, like female warriors.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what mythology that is in, but I want to read it.
It's in Greek.
Yeah, but like which one?
Oh, it's
Like
just like there's like a story on its own.
yeah,
Well,
do
they
they?
not like a story on its own, but like they appear in different stories.
Yeah, I just want to read one just about them and their life. Like
There
I
is
don't
one.
care.
There is a one called the retelling, I think.
Tell me about
Pretty
it.
sure, yeah.
Where is it? Hold on. We gotta Google this first.
Jeff Bezos is rubbing his fingers together as about Google Amazon. Yeah, look, I knew Amazon had just come up when you Googled the Amazons.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read Ariadne? Have you read Ariadne yet? Yeah.
No, I have not.
Apparently it's supposed to be just like one of those like kind of regular romances, but just like with Greek kind of like storyline in the background, you know.
I've been
Like it's
hearing.
just about her like falling in love really, and then like
Mm.
oh men are bad. It's not actually like as in depth as maybe like Madeline Miller stuff is. Like it's not a proper like retelling as much. Like it's
I'm
not
hearing
deep.
mixed
That's what I'm trying to
reviews.
say.
So get this. I just Googled it. Apparently the Amazons were in the Trojan War and they helped Priam.
Really?
Where?
I'm sure they were.
Yeah, but like
It's probably one of those tiny passages that you skim over because it mentions like a million different people.
Let's see also like a bunch of other things. Like, how dare they not give me more about the Amazons?
People always call my mom an Amazon because she's like really tall with like long black hair.
Oh yeah.
And she did like bodybuilding as well. So she was really like muscly.
Love that. Love that. Where to read story of Amazons? Where to read?
A lot of the time, I just kind of start off with like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Apparently, they lived in modern day Ukraine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The Amazon's gonna rise up out of the graves right now and help them.
Honestly, as they should.
They could definitely like squash Putin.
Would pay money to just watch that. Honestly. Okay, now we're on. Okay, so there's someone.
And they had one boob as well, so that they could like fight with their like they could have their arrows and stuff like kind of like slung over the shoulder and it wouldn't like hurt their boobs. They like have only one boob, you know.
Interesting.
I don't know if they cut it off or if it's just not there, but yeah, they're pretty awesome.
So, okay, someone just made a like collection of stories about them. So there's that.
There's loads of collections of stories with like different women from the Trojan War. So I feel like the Amazons are definitely in that.
Yeah.
As well.
Maybe I'll have to, okay. This doesn't matter right now, but
yeah.
an option. That's what I want to read about. Like, I don't care about I'm getting tired of all the men in the Trojan War. I want some Amazons and I want them now.
Well, these next two books have like some strong females in them, so
yeah, thank God. I don't like that they're always on the losing side though. That's a little something I don't like.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you couldn't be asking for too much.
Apparently. So the princess rides out to meet Turnus at the war front. And well, okay, so the princess is part of the group, but I thought she was like the main girl. I don't think she is.
Is this Camilla?
This is Camilla. She is a princess of sorts, but I don't think she's the princess.
Can I just say it's so funny how there is a princess and a Diana in this book? I mean, a Camilla and a Diana.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you said, Camilla is like a princess, kind of Amazon, and well, not an Amazon, she's like a princess, kind of like warrior. And then you have like she's protected by Diana, as if Princess Diana would ever protect. That's Snake Camilla. Where's Queen Elizabeth? Where's Queen Elizabeth? You know what I mean?
Literally. Oh my God.
Where's Charles? Charles is an AS in this situation.
Honestly. Dude, so then we get like we get this whole story though about Camilla, and she like her dad was I guess a single father, and like the way he like fed her as an infant was like through a deer or something,
Mm,
right?
mm.
And then
But
like
that's probably kind of like alluding to the Romulus and Remus thing.
I don't know about Romulus and Remus.
It was like two kids that founded Rome and they were suckled by like a she wolf.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's like I'm not sure. See, again, I don't know how that story fits in with Aeneas founding Rome because Romulus and Remus is like the older one, like the
Yeah.
original founding of Rome myth.
Yeah.
I think it already mentioned that Aeneas is like Romulus and Remus's distant relative or something like that.
Probably. He's everybody's distant relative, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, he's legitimized somehow.
He's Hector's brother, so
Yeah. This guy and his connections, honestly.
yeah. He's one of those kids like born into a really well-off family, and he's like, I had to work hard though.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, did you? You literally like were a millionaire since the day you were born, but okay. Sounds good. So, Camilla goes in to fight, and she asks the goddess Diana to protect her. And then also in part of her childhood story, uh they gave her like a bow as an infant, which just seems like a
Mm.
terrible idea.
Training her from a young age, you know.
Yeah, I guess I was like, I don't know about that one. So then they also mention, just throw it out there, that they want this girl to be a virgin forever. And I was like, okay, random,
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Yeah. It's kind of like Artemis, because Artemis, she's like the Greek goddess of the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And she's kind of like also kind of the, what do you call it? Not the patron saint, but you know, kind of like the carer of like virgins, you know.
Yeah.
Like anybody that's kind of loyal to Artemis, like it has to be like a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, you read Percy Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, when I'm reading the third book now, and Percy Jackson, he's like talking to Artemis, and
Yeah, maybe spoiler warning if you haven't read Percy Jackson really
yeah,
quick.
yeah, it's not too much of a spoiler, but yeah, he meets Artemis, and the kind of women in Artemis's little group, her little army, and they're all like swearing their life to be virgins forever.
I thought you were about to have a different part with Artemis, that I was
Oh
like,
no,
spoiler warning.
I'm only starting anyway, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I say I'm about like 1/3 of the way through. So.
Okay. Yeah. Artemis comes back, and then just like text me when you get there.
Okay.
Because I was like, I didn't know what you were gonna say about Artemis. So I was like, hold on. She's important.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm just at the. I'm very big. You know when Bianca kind of like swears to be like loyal to her and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got to read Percy, guys. Stop listening to this podcast and go read Percy Jackson, because that is more exciting than the Iliad. But also finish this podcast first.
What if we
more than the
do?
Aeneid, but
Do you want to do for Patreon episode for this? What if we just talked about the first book of Percy Jackson?
yeah, I mean, does it link? We have to try to find out if it links up anyhow.
I mean, it doesn't have to. It's fine. I was gonna also do for this Hades the video game, because it has Greek gods in it. So
that's a good idea.
I'm being very loose with Patreon right now. I'm
Just
like
something that's mythological.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to, we can.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. I'll just go grab the book from my parents' house this weekend. Or I can probably just download it online, because I mean,
Makes
I've
up for not doing a movie.
Exactly. Maybe I'll just like release it on, I don't know. Maybe it just I'm trying to figure out how to like raise awareness for Patreon, but anyways, that doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out later. Okay, so Camilla has like a whole squad of ladies.
On the side note too, did you see Instagram's introducing something where you subscribe to people's accounts and you like pay money to follow them?
No.
Who's gonna do that? My followers are gonna plummet.
What? That's so weird.
So like they see like kind of exclusive posts and things like that, but I'm like, whose Instagram is that exciting that you would pay, you know?
Like, I think they're trying to figure out a way to like save Instagram right now, because it's like all reels. It's basically TikTok right now.
Yeah.
So I'm honestly trying to build my TikTok more than I'm trying to even work on Instagram because I have a feeling Instagram is going to die soon.
Yeah, but then there'll be something else, I'm sure too.
Probably. But it's just like,
That's why I love Twitter. You know, Twitter is just like never. I don't have Twitter actually, but you know, I've had it like on and off throughout the years, and I like respect that it's just been stable the whole time. You know,
yeah. I just don't understand what to post on Twitter ever. I'm like never
I
inspired.
wish Tumblr was still popular. I love Tumblr.
Yeah, I like Tumblr a lot too. But it's like it's not on the any no one really uses it anymore.
Yeah,
Tumblr was a nice one though. It's fun.
yeah. Anyway,
Uh
back to it.
yeah, so Camilla has a whole squad of ladies from Italy fighting and it's very top tier. Love it. And then we get like this whole like few pages about like Camilla just straight up slaughtering men, like
Yeah,
killing the game. Um, but then we get like a spoiler that she's gonna fall like a few pages before she dies. I was like, why would you tell me that?
yeah, yeah. She gets distracted by you know, what's the word? Plundering. You know,
Yeah,
trying to get people's goods. You know, trying to steal people's goods is basically the ancient equivalent of like, ooh, pretty shoes. Let me go shopping.
which love that. Like honestly, have you never played a D&D game where you're like, what's on the body?
Yeah.
What can I loot? Like that was me when I played Skyrim all the time. I'd be like, mine and mine. That's also mine. So then someone challenges her in a one-on-one fight. And then she just out of the blue dies. Straight up. I had
Yeah.
no idea what happened. She just suddenly dead. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think she was trying to take like, you know, steal goods or whatever, kind of loot the place, and then someone just like
Yeah.
oh, it's no, yeah, it's I can't remember the name of the dude because I don't have the book on me in the front, but some guy attacks her and then um the war whatever the war god's name is on the other side, he like guides the arrow so that it hits her like right in the head.
Which for why? Because she was the coolest part of this entire book.
Who I can't remember what the guy was. Turnus? Oh no, the god that's kind of like
Oh, Mars, I think.
Mars, maybe. Yeah, anyway, the god that's like not on Aeneas' side was like,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
Sad. Because I only cared about her and the rest of
Yeah.
the lady warriors. So then Nymph immediately gets revenge for Camilla's death, which I love,
As she should.
as she should. The only thing I want. So then we are on to book 12, The Fortunes of War. So Turnus has his
This is the final book.
yeah, woo! Thank God. Oh my God. Not a fan. Not a fan. So Turnus has his last will to fight and basically like tries to do like one final push to be like, let's try our best, everyone. Like he doesn't even try to encourage anybody. He's like, let's do our best.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nice. Maybe just give up. Like at that point, if you're like, I don't think we can win, but like, let's try. Like you should probably just not. So they're trying to figure out who's gonna make the final stand. And then Juno, like we get a flash of Juno talking to Turnus' sister, who's a nymph, and she's like, maybe you should like go protect your brother because he's about to die. And she's like, what? So yeah, gets and then also Juno is like, yeah, I know, she says this to nymph. She's like, I know you slept with my husband, and but besides that, how about you go save your brother? I'm like, that's a way to start a conversation, but okay. And it's like the other thing is like with Zeus, it probably wasn't her choice to sleep with him
Yeah.
because Zeus is a trash bag.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh, okay, why would you blame her for that? One, even if she was willing, that's a power dynamic that none of us are a fan of. So yeah, no.
Mm.
So then they actually make a peace treaty this time. but then they still start fighting, so I don't really understand what's going on. So they like keep making this peace treaty, and then they're like, oh, just kidding.
I mean, yeah, I felt that's how real war goes as well.
Probably. They're like, who broke it first? Have you seen the A Christmas Prince on Netflix?
Yes, of
You see the
course.
third one?
No.
Oh my god. I've watched all of them.
I think I've just watched the first two. Wait, what happens in the third one?
In the
What's the
third
one where she has
one,
the baby?
what?
Is there one where she has a baby?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Does she have a baby? I don't think so. This
I don't
one's the
know.
one where there's like a peace treaty.
Oh no, I've only seen the first one, I think.
Oh.
I
Wait,
think
now
the
I'm trying
thing
to
I'm thinking
remember.
of the what's the Princess Switch, the one with Vanessa Hudgens. I think
Oh
that
yeah,
was the
yeah.
one I was thinking of. That
Yeah,
has a
I'm
kid in it.
thinking of A Christmas Prince. And there's like three of those as well. And this one, and the third one of that one. So these are like the same universe. Okay.
Yeah.
Netflix is building a Christmas universe. Um, and in that one, they have to like sign this peace treaty every 100 years. Otherwise, oh no, this one she is pregnant in the third one.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
maybe that is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that she was pregnant the whole time. Yeah. So then like they have to like sign this peace treaty and then it gets lost and then the baby can like get seriously cursed and stuff like that. And that's just what I'm thinking about. Because then it's like touch and go, touch and go, touch and go the whole time.
Hmm.
Same vibe. I don't know, man. If you haven't watched those Christmas ones, they're not good by any means, but they are a movie and I do love them. It's better than Hallmark. That's what I will say.
Hmm.
Because like my thing with Hallmark, it's like they are so like not only are they predictable, but they're like unimaginative and they are also homophobic. So not a fan.
This is how I feel about like romance books lately. Like there's so many like amazing, diverse, like creative romance movies, but I mean romance books. But, you know the ones I'm thinking of when they have like the illustrations on the cover of like the guy and the girl and like
Mhm.
enemies to lovers, and it's just like it's all the exact same. Like all the big ones lately have all been the same. I mean, I haven't read them because they just like sound bad. But, like the hating game and you
I
know
I haven't really read much romance, to be honest. I did read Window Shopping though for Christmas, and I really liked that one.
like I loved my like the romances, like the kind of like YA type ones, like the Selection series. Did you ever read that?
I read that a long time ago, and I didn't finish it.
I
So
love kind of like reading those when I was younger, but I feel like now so many of them are just like enemies to lovers. Oh, what they finally fall in love. You know what I mean? Like it's like how
yeah,
can you read the same story over and over again?
yeah, I
And
like
like some of
ones.
the covers like are just the covers are so cringy. Like if you're trying, like people are like, oh, romance, like it's not like chick lit, like it's so amazing. I'm like, why are you giving it such bad covers then? We have the cheesy little illustrations of like the guy
Yeah,
and the girl. The girl's on one cover, the guys on their side, they're like back to back, and was like,
yeah.
ugh.
And then I also feel like for some reason there's just not. I feel like the ones that are winning awards aren't very diverse, and I want to know about more diverse romance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I just like I'm glad I'm on like such a weird subset of book talk that I do get a lot more diverse literature than most people do. But because I don't normally find romance, like I've only read a couple of romance books, they aren't they don't really pull a lot of diverse romance books for me because I don't read romance. So
Like
I'm just
I
like,
love watching romance movies, but reading them I'm not I love when books have like an element of romance, but like if
mhm.
it's just romance, I'm like the you know
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
last one I read was Red, White, and Royal Blue,
Hmm.
and I feel like it's a sin to say this like live on air, even this podcast, but like it's just a bit stupid, like there
Hmm.
would be a war if the Prince of England and the president's son in America were secretly dating. You know what I mean? It wouldn't create peace between the two nations, and there would be no political implications, and everyone would just suddenly support it. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
feel like there would be, you know, I mean, it's great that it's happy and stuff, but I just like, oh, it's a bit like unrealistic.
I mean, in all honesty, the president's kids mean nothing in America.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're only the president for like max 8 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like meh.
Well, more so like the royal family, like they would never.
The royal family would probably have a lot more to say, but like
Like
America
even
would
all
be
the
like,
drama that happened to like Meghan Markle and Harry and everything.
yeah, fair enough. I've never read Red, White, and Royal Blue. I know everyone recommends it, but I again,
Like it was fun, but I was just like it was a bit predictable and like
yeah,
a bit over the top, you know.
just not a big romance person. I just I don't. It's
I'm
not my
not
cup of
saying
tea.
like there can't be like happy queer love stories. Like there's totally should, because a lot of them are sad, which is like really depressing.
Yeah,
um, but like, yeah.
I feel like we need political intrigue. Like
Yeah. Like I
that's
was
my thing.
interested how, yeah, exactly. There's some political intrigue, you know.
Yeah, I guess we're just not romance readers. That's what this is boiling down to.
Yeah. That's why we love books about war and fighting, such as the Iliad and
Oh my lord.
Aeneid and the Odyssey.
I will say, I basically my, because Pride and Prejudice is a romance. I read Pride and Premeditation and I was absolutely obsessed with it because like romance was still like a background part of it. But oh
Yeah.
my God, it's so good. And I can't wait until Sense and Second Degree Murder comes out. So I'm gonna binge that too.
Like I love I read like To All the Boys I Loved Before and stuff, that one that came out by Jenny Han, like the Netflix movies. Like I was reading those, but like I was reading them like this is stupid, but I love it. You know what I mean?
Hmm. That's fair. That's how I felt about Pride, Prejudice, and Mistletoe. It was really bad. It was basically a Hallmark movie, but like kind of liked it. Don't know why.
Yeah, like books don't need to be super complex and everything to be fun. But I just what's annoying me, I'm trying to get across is like how predictable they are. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, why do they have to hate each other and then love each other by the end? Can they not just be like ambivalent and then they like get together, you know?
I also just like am not a fan of like when miscommunication is the only reason that they're not dating. That
Yeah.
that annoys the living daylights out of me, to be honest.
Yeah, or like it'd be interesting if there's a kind of a web of characters and you don't know who's going to get together rather than just like it's just about two characters, two different perspectives, you know.
Hmm. That's fair. I will say now I want Red, White, and Royal Blue. I kind of want to read it, but only because I want to
You
know about
should.
the hard part is now I only want to know about the political intrigue, and you already told me there's none.
The queen isn't homophobic, you know,
She
which I
isn't.
feel is which I feel like is a little bit a little bit well, I don't know how Queen Elizabeth feels, but
Okay. She is or is not.
in the book,
Hmm.
like she's cool with it, I
Oh,
think.
good.
If I can remember, I like ages ago.
I mean, that's good. I hate when it's just like,
There's also a lot of like voting stuff to do in America that I didn't understand because I'm Irish.
mm,
So that storyline is kind of like, you know.
yeah, like, oh, weird. What's
Yeah.
that?
Oh, that sounds bad.
I'll have to read it. I it's been on
Yeah,
my
you
list,
definitely
but
should.
haven't done it yet.
You should. It's fun. I just thought it was a bit like predictable, and that's not a spoiler because like you'll find it's predictable as well.
That's fine. Sometimes I feel like really smart when I predict the ending. I'm like, oh, I knew it.
And sometimes it's nice knowing what's going to happen at the end too.
Yeah. Okay, back to the Aeneid.
I
Yeah.
feel like I went in a loop there. I was like, I don't like romance novels. I'm not like other girls. And I was like, a book doesn't have to be really complex to be good.
It's
I do
fine.
it by case, but I feel like
Yeah.
some people are just like, wow, enemies to lovers. I've never read this before.
Honestly, though,
Or like
like,
I see so many videos on YouTube, like my top 10 enemies to lovers books. I'm like, how can you read like 10 of those? Like, are they not all the same?
I sometimes like get in a moment where I'm like, yes, and then sometimes I'm like, no, no. Like, I have to switch it up. Right now, I'm reading a bully romance. Like, I'm reading Zodiac Academy, and
Oh, I mean, you telling me that.
yo,
You're still
I
reading it. I thought you
oh
were
my
gonna be finished them by the
I
next
had
time I
to
spoke to
pause.
you.
I had to pause because it started to get really sad. I was like,
Oh
I
no.
was like, I need a break because I was getting actually upset. And like, here's the part is I don't know if there's gonna be a happy ending. Like, I kind of thought everything would work out. I'm starting to doubt that. I'm seriously starting to doubt that. And then like I follow the authors on TikTok and they were talking about how they're like, yeah, our readers are probably going to be upset with us. And I was like,
Oh no.
no. I was like, I was hoping everything would just eventually work out, and I don't know if it will. So
What's the last book that made you cry?
I don't know.
I'm gonna say it, right? This is another sin, but I feel like I was trying to make myself cry reading Song of Achilles because people said it was so sad. And I was
I
like,
didn't.
I'm just not feeling it, you know? Like I was like, it's sad, but I knew this was gonna happen from like the first page because it was like told you it was gonna happen, you know?
Yeah. I didn't cry.
And I feel like it would have been sadder too if like it's an amazing book, by the way, but it would have been better if you saw like how Achilles felt about Patroclus instead of like just Patroclus is like, because then you couldn't really get like as involved in the romance, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. I don't think I cried though. Like I might have teared up, but I don't think I cried. I usually don't
Hamnet
bawl.
is such a sad book. If you like, it's an amazing book. I haven't reviewed it on my podcast yet, like on my Instagram, a better book podcast, for the listeners. But yeah, it's gonna get 5 stars because it was like amazing.
Hamlet
Amazing.
is what you said?
Hamnet. So
Hamnet.
Hamnet.
Okay.
It's about, have you heard of it?
Mm-mm.
It won the Booker Prize. There's been like a lot of hype for it on Bookstagram, but it's about Shakespeare's wife and his children. But like it doesn't mention, like it doesn't say like, oh, Shakespeare. It just says like, oh, the father or whatever. He's like a background character. So it's about like his family when he's off in London.
Mm.
And it's about like, you know, the plague is in it, and it's really good.
Wasn't Shakespeare gay?
That's a theory, yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell because like literally nothing is known of Shakespeare's life, like very, very little. But we know that he did have a wife and 3 children. So
Yeah. We always thought that Shakespeare was kind of like a fake name, like a stage name.
people say that, and people say like, oh, all of his plays are written by different people, and like, oh, a woman wrote this play and stuff. I think that's honestly like reaching a bit much, you know? Like like
That's
if you
fair.
think about now, like how many successful authors have like 10 amazing books, you know, it's not hard to believe that like, you know, a guy could have written all these plays, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. Who knows? I guess we'll find, like, one day when this becomes an afterlife podcast, I'll find out. I'll get to the end of it.
Yeah.
Because I can already tell that I'm one of those people I won't stop working when I'm dead. I will keep working after I'm dead.
Why?
Because I love doing the podcast. I really do.
Yeah, but it's not so much like, oh, like, that's not working. Like, but I mean, you're hardly going to be like waitressing in heaven.
Oh no! Oh my god! Could you imagine? I hate waitressing. I really do. Like, it's just.
But like, you
my
bet you never
bills.
thought about it. Who's going to be serving your drinks when you're in heaven? Like, you know,
I want to imagine.
If you die while you're working as a waitress, you're gonna have to waitress in the afterlife.
I
you know?
would kill myself again. Like, I would literally, if I made it up to the pearly gates, if that's where the afterlife goes and I end up in heaven and they're like, yeah, welcome, but you still have to continue waitressing, I'd be like, I'm ringing Satan right now and asking if he's got a better deal for me, because
like,
absolutely not.
Like, someone's gonna clean the toilets in heaven. Who is it, you know?
I want to think that everything is done by magic. I don't want to think that someone has to
like how
JK
wrote. What did JK Rowling said something ridiculous for how people in Hogwarts poo it? Like, what does it flies away or something? She like said something ridiculous.
They like poop their pants and then they like magic it away, right? Like every wizard's wearing a diaper or something. I remember hearing about that. Yeah, in the afterlife, I better not have to be like, they better not make people be servers and shit. Like, at that point, we're all going to the underworld. I don't care. I will not continue working this job. Like, I would do the podcast for entertainment and funsies, because like, what am I going to do with the rest of eternity? That we'll be on like episode 1,000,001,001. Okay. Like, but waitressing, absolutely not. No, will not do it. God, what if, now I'm thinking about like, what if the afterlife was literally like Earth, but you're dead? Hold on, I need to write that down. It's a book idea. Hold on. So yeah, they're trying to figure out who's going to make the final stand, and then Turnus' sister, who's nymph. Nope, already talked about that. Okay, so then Aeneas like rolls up and says, there's already a peace treaty, so chill. And Aeneas has to fight one-on-one, but then like that gets thrown out of the window, and then they just go back to fighting war. Aeneas gets injured somehow and has to go to a healing tent and get like ambrosia. And then like he gets all healed up, gets a like freaking arrow pulled out of his body.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, go back. Go keep
Yeah, I mean that's how it was, yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, time to go fight again. But then like instead of like fighting, he looks over and sees how undefended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is I was saying it didn't sound right. But he sees that the town is undefended, and he's like, what if we just raid the town? And everyone's like, great idea. Killer idea. So you just go into this town and just completely demolish it, which is something I've never understood. Like, if you're going to take over a town, why would you destroy the town? Because now you have to pay it to fix
Rebuild it.
Yeah. Seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah, fair point.
Right? Like, what? So, somehow in this whole mess, the queen dies and the city's in flames. Don't know how. Don't know quite what happened there. I just know that it happened.
Which queen is this now? The queen of
that city?
Yeah.
The one that was like infected by I can't remember who it was. One of the Furies to basically be like,
yes.
Yeah. So she dies, and then Turnus' sister shows up and tries to save him. She doesn't. The Trojans like stop ransacking the city to like see Aeneas and Turnus fight. Then they all fight again. And then Turnus is like, all right, Lavanya can be your bride again. And then he dies. And I'm like, what?
Turnus dies, yeah.
Yeah.
And then his ghost is speaking.
Oh, that's what what was happening?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, what is happening? Like, did he just
so
die?
It ends with him speaking like in ghost form.
Oh, okay. That's the Aeneid, everyone.
Yeah, because I forgot until I was reading it, but he literally finished, like it's literally unfinished. Like he died before it was finished.
Oh, yeah. I was like, okay, that's just leave it there, I guess.
Because like there's only 12 books, like compared to the Odyssey that has like 22.
Yeah.
And some are like, oh no, he always intended to finish it this way, but it just makes no sense. And I remember when I told you he was on his deathbed and he wasn't happy with the Aeneid, this is like his first draft or something like that. So
yeah, there's a lot of plot holes.
Yeah.
Like basically this seems like a glorified outline, and then he's like,
okay, you are his editor. What are you gonna say to him?
Okay.
When you meet him in the afterlife, you have him on the podcast,
I would say, one, nothing freaking happens in this entire book. Nothing of interest happens. So my first thing would be like, get him stuck somewhere on his journey. He had this entire journey on easy mode. You name drop everywhere Odysseus goes. Stop doing that. Don't compare to the Odyssey the entire time. Instead, throw out something interesting. Be like, this new place that he passes through, and either he has like some sort of friendship, something cool. Like the only people we really meet in this is Dido, and we only get her for 2 days, and then she dies because he breaks her heart and leaves her. So like we need people that are interesting. We need something to like care about. We need like trials and tribulations to get him to like be someone we care about. Like, and we get an island with a a harpy, and you just leave.
Yeah.
Like you get a lot of cool women throughout this entire book. Let's explore them a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that would have been way cooler.
Yeah. I would say Virgil, dude, first, I like the book. now, you know, I realize in your time things were different, but in
Mhm.
21st century, people are into flawed characters. You don't
Yeah.
want a character that has easy, you don't want a character that sails through. That's why we liked Odysseus, because he's a bit of a
Mhm.
jerk, you know, but he's kind of like an anti-hero. We
Mhm.
respected that. That wasn't a bad thing, you know. Maybe take some notes from Homer, but on the other hand, stop taking so much notes from Homer.
Yeah.
Um, I would also say that nowadays people are more interested in, it has to be kind of fast paced, you know, your book's very
Mhm.
slow paced. Nowadays with their smartphones, it needs to be like dun dun dun. And I would say there needs to be more character development and a
Mhm.
bit more plot as well, because this was lacking both somehow.
Mhm.
I would say I loved the book with Dido. She was a great character. I would have liked to
Mhm.
see her a bit more rather than just one book. I think she deserved a bit more than one or two books.
Mhm.
Um, I also enjoyed the scene with the underworld. You know, I thought that was cool. That he went to
Yeah.
the underworld. You should have explored that maybe a bit more.
Mhm.
And maybe, you know, you did so much foreshadowing. You should have maybe foreshadowed a bit more going to underworld. You should have made his task maybe a bit more challenging, you know, because
Mhm.
being directed to a golden branch and then just snapping it off is a
Yeah.
little bit, you know,
Easy mode.
anticlimactic for
Mhm.
being one of the, you know, he's actually the second, the only the second human to go to the underworld. That's huge. So he should have had
Mhm.
a big build up for it. So that'd be my notes. Also, yes, you see Virgil nowadays, you know, we're very fascinated by sea creatures and mythological creatures in general. You
Mhm.
know, back in those times, maybe you guys, you're bored of them, you know, they're everywhere. You're like, whatever. But some of us, we don't really know what a harpy's like. It would have been exciting to visit them.
Mhm.
Also more Amazon action.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We love the Amazons.
Mhm.
So
Also, maybe clarify whose team people are on. That was a little confusing
yes.
throughout the novel.
I think it would be nice. You know, nowadays books usually have like a little map on the front where they
Mhm.
have a little character list, you know, a
Mhm.
little especially, you know, fantasy novels sometimes have a little what's it called? Glossary, you know.
Mhm.
That would have been appreciated. But
I like to imagine that you know, Virgil's on his like 5,000th rewrite of this in the afterlife, and then he's furiously taking notes.
yeah. Yeah, I know. He's out there listening somehow. And I think there should be a bit less war, you know, because this
Mhm.
is coming after 10-year war. Your
Yeah.
readers don't want to read more war. We want the more character driven like we had in the
Mhm.
Odyssey. And I'm not saying you have to be at the Odyssey. Everybody's unique and amazing in their own way.
Mhm.
But this was quickly written, silly fan fiction, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
What
But
would you give this out of 5?
one.
I'd give it 2.
Yeah. I I feel like I've explained myself enough.
We have. Yeah.
Yeah, but that is the Aeneid. Thank you everyone for listening. Jade, where can all the people of the internet find you?
You can find me at aboutabook.podcast on Instagram. And you can find my podcast by looking up About a Book as one word on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah. And we will catch you later, probably on Patreon with Percy Jackson. So make sure you check that out. Um, and you all, thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.